Okay, so this is going to take a minute to explain because I have to go over a little bit of history here. Okay, you have this game, Tokyo Mirage Sessions. It's going to be titled #FE Encore. That's because it's a re-release. So this game originally came out on the Wii U. It's developed by Atlas, who, if you don't know, also make the Persona games. Very popular game series. Just had the 5th one come out recently. Didn't play that one. I played the 4th one quite a bit, though, on the PS Vita. I plan on getting the 5th one eventually. I don't know why I haven't got around to playing it yet, but I'll get there. I was kind of hoping it would come to another console, like maybe the Switch, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, this is very interesting. They've got a little case more of laziness, not so much censorship, but there's a little bit of both here. So, what's going on? Okay, so if you don't know, this game originally came out on the Wii U. Back in, I believe, 2016 is when the game came out for the Wii U. Not that long ago. So, was in Japan, and it was a little racy, I guess. You know, if you don't like thighs and underwear. And it was all like that over there. They brought it over here, and they made changes. A little bit of censorship. As you can see right here, here's the Japanese version on the left. As you can see, cleavage. Go to the right. They painted it to make it look like she's wearing a dress that covers up everything. So they had the game, they brought it over to the Wii U, and they censored it. Of course, Kotaku here said, well, we don't mind that they're censoring fanship. Not a big deal. We don't mind it over here at the Puritan Kotaku. Not a big deal for us. So they brought it over to the West, censored. As it was back in 2016, I don't know if people made a big deal about it. I'm not sure. However, the reason that I'm talking about this is because the game's coming to the Nintendo Switch, which brought some concerns. Now, back on September 6th, some people were concerned that the censorship was going to carry over. And we have it right here, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, #FE Encore, trailer raises censorship concerns, and it had some of the stuff such as this. So here's another example of the censored game. You have the Japanese version on the left. Clearly, she was just wearing chaps and underwear, and then you go over to the right, and they just colored it in to make it look like pants. Now, we have a definitive answer to what is going on. The game is being censored. And lazily, they're sending the censored version to Japan. So this is a case of Western censorship actually directly affecting Japan, which is what's going on with the PS4 right now and Sony. Now, I don't know who to blame here for this port, for both ports, for the Western port or the Japanese port. And the reason I say that is because Nintendo is publishing this game. This was a Wii U exclusive made by Atlas. Now, I also want to cut Nintendo some slack here because they've pretty much not had any censorship on the Switch. I mean, there's some, like, you know, every console has some censorship, right? It's just the way it is. But they're a little bit more forgiving than Japanese Sony right now, who's based in California, by the way. As funny as that is, they are now directly censoring Japan in a lot of ways because they oversee everything, even the Japanese games. Everything is in California now. It's really strange, isn't it? But that's where the market is for PlayStation, is in the West. PlayStation doesn't sell that well in Japan. It's just what it is. They don't really care about consoles anymore. They like handhelds. Switch does well there, but I think for the most part, people are just using computers, cell phones, and Switches over in Japan. They're not using consoles anymore. So, you know, they're going where the money is. They're going over to the West. How long consoles last, that's a different subject. But nonetheless, this is a lazy way to do things. So there's a couple of problems here. They're not, you know, they could go back and just port the Wii U version as is, but instead, or the Japanese Wii U version as is. Instead, they're just being lazy and using the censored port and giving that to Switch owners. Okay, I guess it makes sense, right? Because that one's already done in English, and they can just do that. Now, what's even lazier is now they're going to port the English version that's developed over to Japan, which is based on the censored version. So it's kind of funny, kind of different. You don't really see a story like this too often. Let's go through Niche Gamer's article and see what they're saying. By the way, Niche Gamer, great website. You should check it out, nichegamer.com. So anyway, the official Japanese website for Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE Encore has updated yet again, confirming the game will be based off the Western censored version of Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE. In case you missed our earlier reports, the trailer for the game rose concerns that the censorship that plagued the original game would return and possibly even in the Japanese version. With the official Japanese While the official Japanese website showed what appeared to be image from the uncensored Japanese version and confirming English language support in the Japanese version, it later updated to show the censored version of the same game. The website has updated once more, adding the following note to the bottom right of the web page underneath the shopping cart. This work is a universal specification that adds new elements based on the Western version of Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE released on the Wii U. Being the Western version, Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE had almost no exclusive content compared to Japan. This undoubtedly means the game's censorship, when combined with the censored image. For those unfamiliar, the Western version of Tokyo Mirage Sessions #FE had many instances of censorship, the majority of this centered around its sexual content, including altering costumes to be less revealing. Even details indicating cleavage or bone structure around the pelvis were edited out. Now, I'm sure this is going to please the people at Reset Era, as they have wanted Japan to step up, in hand quotations, for some time. I'm sure the Twitter Puritans and such will also be jumping for joy, because now they're directly sending their Puritan values over to Japan. Now, I'm a little confused to why Nintendo is going this route, as they've released several, well, they haven't released, but allowed several releases of uncensored games on their platform recently that are probably a lot worse than this game. So what this tells me is they're doing the lazy route. They're taking the censored version that was already done in English, doing it here, and then porting that to Japan. Now, it's strange to me that they're doing that, because I'm going to guess that this game will probably sell better in Japan than it will here. So it's a little weird, especially, given Nintendo's really recently I don't care attitude to censorship. I mean, you can look at games. What comes to mind is that volleyball game, Dead or Alive Volleyball, and a few other instances where the Switch version, came as is. Even a lot of those visual novel games, I'm not into those games. I know those are really popular in Japan. They brought a couple of those to the Switch and the PS4, and the PS4 version's all censored up, but the Switch version is pretty much clean. So it's weird to me that they wouldn't just take the Japanese version, because it would get a little bit of hype, especially among, the people who love that fan service stuff. So it's weird to me that they're doing this. It's very strange, particularly sending this version to Japan. I think they're thinking no one's going to really notice it. And if you think about it, that does make sense, because the Wii U, no one probably really played the game anyway, because the Wii U was a very undersold console. So, among some of the changes in that game, according to Niche Gamer, all references of gravure modeling was also removed. This type of modeling refers to modeling in Japan that is sexual, without right being, bow chicka wow wow. Some idols in Japan, young female celebrities using a variety of talent, usually singing, and dancing, do such work, and the game's plot centers around idols utilizing fantastical elements. References to gravure modeling were changed to fashion models, and several characters had their ages increased, with several Japanese voice lines being re-recorded to reflect this change exclusively for the Western version. Now, that's kind of funny. They actually brought in the Japanese people. So a lot of games, will now, which is nice, Dragon Quest SI did this recently for the Switch version. I don't know if that's on any other platforms. Great game, by the way. Gave you the Japanese track, which was nice, because I always prefer to play games in the Japanese language if it's available for a game that originates in Japan. And that's strange and kind of weird. They went and re-recorded the dialogue, the Japanese dialogue, I don't think does that ever really happened before? I don't know, but somebody in the comments, I'm sure, will fill me in on that one. But that's crazy. So DLC centered around a hot spring and their costumes were also not released in the West. That's not the first time we've seen that happen, by the way. Happened recently in the One Piece video game that Bandai released. Bandai is very notorious for not releasing fan servicey stuff here in the West lately. Alternate costumes exclusive to the Western version were provided as DLC instead, giving a grain of truth to the website statement that it will have new elements from the Western version. So this is a strange one. Kind of strange that Japan is getting the censored Western version, and also kind of disappointing that Nintendo's going with the censored version in general, even for the West. Now, I don't know who to blame for this, Atlus or Nintendo. Now, Atlus definitely gets most of the blame here as they're doing the lazy route and sending the censored version to Japan, but also for being lazy and just bringing this one all together. It's almost like they sat down and said, well, it'll just be better to do it this way to avoid problems. Anytime they do stuff like this, to me, it's to avoid screeching and bad press. Well, what they consider to be bad press from the screechers. That's the only logical reason for them to censor stuff, in my opinion, is because the screechers are out of control. Now, originally, I would have said no big deal. Nintendo's always been like this, but that's changed lately. For the past, actually, ever since the Switch came onto the scene, they've been quite open to developers and letting them put what they want on the system, finally recognizing that going, the censored route is not the best look for them, as other companies are doubling down on it, like Sony. And so this is a strange conundrum. This is a weird one. I don't know what to say about it other than Atlus is just being lazy and doing it just to do it. We won't know, but I'm disappointed nonetheless and wanted to update you guys on what was going on here. So give me your thoughts. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments. Do you think it's funny that our Puritans are now purifying Japan this way? Let me know. Like and subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Share the video. All of that good stuff. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.